So in order to help jog your memory, we're on page 25, and let's just do a problem in each section. Just be like, oh yeah, we did do that. Does that sound good? And I say I'm going to choose some of the harder ones to help you out. Does that sound good? You want to do 4, 5, or 6? 4 or 5, I'd say, are the harder ones. 5. Let's do it. Let's do it, you guys. So on 5, whenever you're finding if something is even, odd, or neither, we always plug in a negative for the x. I'm sorry, a negative x into the x. That's what we always start with. And when we do that, we would get a negative 1 over a negative x squared minus a negative x to the 6th. So the first step is always plug in a negative x wherever you have an x. I just threw this negative, boop, I just threw it up top. So you guys, what would this simplify to be? What's that negative x squared going to do? It's just going to become x squared, right? So I'd have f of negative x would become, I still have a negative 1 over, and you're saying it's going to be an x squared. You cool with that, DM? Yep. Minus, what is a negative to the 6th power going to do?
X to the 6th.
Yeah, it's just going to be an x to the 6th, so minus that x to the 6th. Did I get what I started with? Yeah. Yes. So, even, odd, or neither. I know it's back in the day. So here is the deal. When we plugged in a negative x, we got what we started with. We say, would that equal what we started with? F of x. So therefore, it's even. Even is when we get the same. Odd is when we get exactly opposite. And neither is, obviously, nothing matches. So here's what I would do if I were you. I'd go up to the top. I'd remind myself, even is the same. Odd is the opposite. And let's even write ourselves some shorthand. So for something to be even, when you plug in the negative x, I'm going to make this a little darker because this paper is not white. When I plug in a negative x and I get what I started with, I get f of x. Let me make this a little bit more clear for you. So when I plug in a negative and I get what I started with, we say that's going to be even. An odd function is when I plug in a negative x and I get the opposite of what I started with. Everything is opposite. That would be odd. If it doesn't meet either of those, then it's going to be neither. Down here, when I just say, hey, describe how the graphs are related, I'm just looking for what's going on. Like, let's do the hardest one. Oh, yeah. So now on 11, you guys, this is the parent function x cubed. We know it looks like this. Woo! What is all this going to do to it? What's this plus 2 going to do? Left 2. What about that minus 8? Down 8. Love it. What about that 1/5? Skinnier or wider? Yeah, it's going to make it wider. And don't forget about this cute little negative sign. What's that negative sign going to do?
Upside down.
Reflect over. What would you say? Flip. As long as you say flip over the x-axis, I'm good with it. We got to just say that over the x-axis thing.
Can I say upside down over the x?
Sure. Danny's about to write a paragraph over the x-axis. Okay, which one of these do we want to do? How do we feel about, let's do 16, yeah? Okay, 16, here we go. Ooh, parent function looks like this. Woo! But what is that minus 2 going to do? Right 2. I know we want to say left because of that minus sign, but when it's in the parentheses, it's going to be opposite, correct? And then that minus 3? Down 3. Good job, you guys. So we're going to go right 2, down 3. There's the origin of my parabola. My parabola, what's 1 squared? If this is my new origin, 1 squared is 1. Negative 1 squared is? No, I appreciate you double checking. 2 squared is 4. Negative 2 squared is 4. 3 squared is 9. 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Negative 3 squared is 9. We're a little off the graph. Ooh! Solid or dashed? Ooh! Dashed. Worster. Worsty, if I were you, if I already drew it in pen, I would just go like this. I would make it an or equals to in the original problem. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, I'll do that.
Okay, to graph less than. What's our gut saying? Under. Let's prove it. I don't want to use the origin because it's like a little too close to the line. Maybe we use like -1, 1. -1, -1. I'm good with making them both the same. -1, -1 is here. Let's go check it. -1 is less than -3 plus -1 minus 2 squared. Parse. -1 minus 2. Negative 3. Square it. 9. 9 minus 3. Is negative 1 less than 6?
Yes.
Yeah, so we shade where that point is. And you guys already said your gut was telling you to go under. And guess what? Your gut was right. Okay, people, we did that. Oh, we did that guy, and that did not stay attached. So we're going to just get rid of that. Sorry about that. Boom, you gone. Okay, let's remind ourselves how to solve systems. Absolute value. 19 or 21. Which one do you want to do?
You do both.
Let's just do 19 because it's got a lot of negatives going on. So you guys, a reminder, to solve absolute value, you've got to have 2 equations, but you can't do that until we got my absolute value by itself. And right now that negative is hanging out. So we got to get rid of that negative. Negative 12 divided by negative 1 is 12. What happens to that inequality sign when I divide by negative 1? You go, flip it. Then I have an absolute value of negative 13x minus 1. We good. If I were you, I would always rewrite my absolute value first so that I can use my great or and less than trick. We can only use my great or and less than trick when my absolute value is written first and it has nothing in front of it, like this negative sign or a 5 or anything like that. So what symbol is this? Great or less than? This is a less than symbol, so we know this is going to be an and. So when I go to solve this, just as a reminder, the first equation is just negative 13x minus 1 is less than 12. I just get rid of the bars. Then I'm going to say and negative 13x minus 1. What is the second one? Yeah, flip the inequality and change the sign of the constant. So it turned into greater than negative 12. Oh, yes. Now we go solve these per usual. Per usual, we're going to add 1 to both sides. If I add 1 to 12, 13. If I divide by a negative 13. Yes, live with the memory. She's saying, I got to flip that sign. If we're dividing by a negative, I'm going to be x is greater than, what would my answer be? Boom. Okay, I'm going to add 1 over here. When I do that, I get negative 13x is greater than negative 11, question mark? Great. When I divide by negative 13, what does that sign do? Flips again, so much flipping in here. And I'm just going to leave it as 11/13. We said this was an and. Is there a number that is greater than negative 1 and less than 11/13, less than a positive? 10/13, is that what you said? Great. 0, right? So because that works, we can say, all right, my x is going to be greater than negative 1. Smaller number always goes on the left. Bigger number always goes on the right. Needs to say 13. And then they'll always match signs. X is going to be greater than negative 1, but also less than 11/13. Okay, which one are we doing? Top one? Let's do top one. Yeah. So to find the inverse, does anyone remember how to find an inverse? Switch the x and the y. Liv is ready to take this test today. Switch the x and the y. So it'd be x equals, and then we got negative 3 plus y minus 4 cubed. So we switch the x and the y first, then we get y by itself. How are we getting y by itself? What do you want to do first? You know it. Add that 3. X plus 3. Then I got it cubed. How do I get rid of the cube? Cube root. We got the cube root of x plus 3 equals y minus 4. Do I need to have a plus or minus here? No. Not with an odd root. But if it was a square root, we better have a plus or minus. Get my y by itself, y'all. Y equals that cube root of x plus 3, and I'm going to add 4. You could have thrown that 4 in the front, and your answer could look like this, or you could have thrown it in the back. Either way, you found the inverse. So they said find the inverse. Check. Graph the original function and the inverse. Here we go. Let's go graph this orig. We know x cubed looks like this. What's that minus 4 doing? Right 4. So we're going right 4. And then we're going, what with that negative 3? Down 3. Right 4, down 3. Right 4, down 3. There's the origin of my cubed graph. Then you guys, you are so smart. You know 1 cubed is 1. You know negative 1 cubed is negative 1. You with me, GP? Okay. 2 cubed Sorry. We're going to go, if 2 cubed is going to be 8. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. And then, do I even have room for negative 2 cubed? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Okay. That kind of fit. So then I'm going to say, all right, here's my original function. That's a cubed graph. I'm going to make this in black, and I'm going to make it a little bigger. And I'll go blue, actually. Ooh. Could have done better, so I'm going to do better. Here we go. Cubed graph. Boom. Anyone remember how we graph that inverse then? Take all of these points and just flip them. And it will look like that. Gabe, you're great. So this point was 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 1, 2, 3. 6, 5 turns into 5, 6. I'm going to put these in green. 5, 6. So we've flipped this point. Then I'm going to go to this guy. This point was 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Down 1, 2. So 5, negative 2 would turn into negative 2, 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Uh-oh. This does not look great. What did I do? Negative 2, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Oh, it's right there. Maybe white would even show up better. If I've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3. 4, negative 3 would turn into negative 3, 4. 3, negative 4, negative 4, 3. 2, this is actually negative 11, would turn into negative 11, 2. And then like you showed with your arm, Gabe, this is our, I'll do it in different colors so that my lines, you can still see them. So therefore, this is my inverse. This looks like a cube root. Yeah, right? You guys, red is my inverse. It says, is the inverse a function? Does red pass the vertical line test? Sure does. It's good.